Yay. It looks like my mic is connected. Can you hear me? I have a friend today. This is Lil Luna, who came to say hi, everybody. Say hello. Can you hear me? Daisha is in this room with me. She refused to go on the live with me, but she's in here. Yeah, she can hear me. Okay. I'm so proud because normally the last couple of times I've come on, I have not been able to. The mic was not connected. So this is little Luna. She is the newest member of our family. I know you guys met Lucy. Um, she's 12 weeks old and she's our little Yorkie. So she just came to say hi and hopefully just sit on my lap. Happy Sunday. Let's see. Give me a chat if you are in here right now. Like I know Dacia's here, literally sitting beside me. I know I just sent the link to Jeff, but happy Sunday. I hope everybody's doing well. I cannot believe that tomorrow is June. Funny enough, June 1st is my birthday. June 2nd is Jocelyn's birthday. So we have birthdays on the brain for the next couple of days. And one of the things that I always do on my birthday, you guys probably know this already, is I like to do some sort of movement. Like, so back in the day, like when I remember being like, whenever I was turning like 27, back in my like ultra marathon days, late 20s, early 30s, I would literally run the miles of the year that I was turning, which was it's so crazy to think about now. So like, of course I would be running like 27 miles, 28 miles. I remember even in my 30s running like 31 miles for my birthday, which is crazy. And so then like as time, went on and I had kids and things changed, I made sure to kind of, to continue the tradition of movement, but I switched it up. And then I turned to, biking, something that would somehow equal my age and distance. And then I, eventually when I had injured my knee, I have a couple of videos on Instagram, like in my stories, when I went on a very long bike ride to equal, was that, I forget the exact distance because I forget what birthday it was, but I remember riding just for like going and going. And I rode my bike for a certain distance and then I walked a certain distance. So tomorrow will look like none of that, but I do have my sister here. She's here staying with me for a little bit. And we already have planned to head to my old stomping ground at the boardwalk, which is where all those miles had taken place. And we're going to, rack up some miles tomorrow, not 30, probably. I don't know. I will report back with what we end up with, but literally, we've guaranteed ourselves a 5K of walking on the boardwalk, and we're going to go from there and see how it goes. But it is 100% my birthday tradition, my favorite thing. And it's funny because Mike knows that as he's trying to kind of like plan out what we're going to do for my birthday. He's like, you need to go get that out of the way. Like he knows that I will be unsettled until I have that movement kind of locked in and dialed in, and then I'll be able to continue on with my birthday. So we're going to meet down again, the oceanfront. We've moved since then. We're out in the country now. And we're going to go and hit up like one of our restaurants that we used to go to. So it's going to be great, but just, my birthday tradition. So if you don't have one, something like that you do, and it doesn't have to be a birthday, but like it could be anything. It could be, I don't know, coming up. It could be a 4th of July tradition. It could be, we have Father's Day coming up. It could be a Father's Day tradition, whatever it is. But it's really fun to kind of tie those things to that movement and moving your body and just giving yourself something to, a tradition that you can keep turning to, and it will make you feel good. So it always starts with, that's just such a great way to kick off the day. So that's where we will be. And I will post about it within our group for our soulmates who are here right now. Thank you, Jeff. Just said happy birthday. And Chanellos. I know. So we've got Daisha here without the rest of her fam. So we miss you guys. You all need to come, but we're actually heading into Pennsylvania in a few weeks because we're almost done with school, which is wild. We have about 2 more weeks for us, and then we're heading to Pennsylvania for a little bit. So I'll have to see if I can possibly meet up with some soulmates there, even for like, I'm in my walking era, right now, but to see if we can meet there and kind of, do what we used to do. Go to LK for some coffee, rack up some miles, whether at the trail or at Wannabe Park. And I don't know, it'll be fun. So look forward to that. So what else did I want to talk to you guys about? Oh, so latest thing for me, I'm going to hold on one second. I'm going to hand her off. She's getting a little restless. To Aunt Daisha, or Aunt Consequence, as we call her around here, to my children. She's here to lay out the consequences for everybody. I love it. So the newest thing that I've been doing, you guys know I talk a lot about things that are difficult for me. It's just honestly like when it comes to what I do and why I'm here and how I show up for you guys, like all I can really offer you are the things that I feel like I'm passionate about in the moment of what's going on in my life. And so, unfortunately for you, like if that doesn't line up with kind of where you are, this can be a little bit frustrating, maybe a little bit annoying that, we're not on the same page because you guys this is 5 years of, coming here and talking and working with you guys. And I've run the gamut, right, of things that I've been focused on. And initially when I started this, for me, it was all about running and completing those marathons and those half marathons, and my life has just been all over the place in the past 5 years, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, and I'm always kind of like dragging you guys along on this journey. And so, for better or for worse, whatever I'm feeling passionate about is what I feel like I can share with you. Like I can't force myself to share right now some of my journey, going through the marathon process or the half marathon process. I'm just not there right now. I'm hoping that within those courses that were created that we can kind of focus on that if you are in that training cycle. But like when we come on these lives, all I can do is really give you what is going on for me right now and what I find helpful and useful in my life. Sometimes it's because I heard something at church that I want to share with you that really struck me as, overly spiritual and helping me to connect to God and feeling very moved by that. So I can share that with you. Or maybe sometimes, over the past couple of weeks, I talked to you about like nutrition and how like I'd kind of been focusing on that and things that I'm doing to work to that have helped me. And so unfortunately for you, or fortunately, whether you're kind of on the same page, you like this idea, you're kind of going on this journey with me of where I am. And right now, again, I'm very much in my walking area. I am doing some jogging, but it's just not that intensive, like, grinding through it kind of energy that I sometimes have and I sometimes want, I sometimes need. I'm just not in that right now. And it's okay. I'm really enjoying it. It's actually allowing me to kind of just have a more consistent movement over the past couple of weeks. I feel really good about how I've been showing up and moving over the past almost honestly like 2 months, I would say, which feels really good versus what I was kind of doing before, which is like those spurts of like intense energy and those workouts and those bigger runs and things like that kind of take a little more out of you. But I couldn't maintain that just because of where I am, because we are humans. We are dynamic and unique, and our lives are constantly changing, and we're constantly ebbing and flowing with things that are happening in our life. And I am, not exempt from that. So like I am, again, like it's just where I am. I'm just in this like giving myself grace and walking and moving and feeling good about that, and really trying to focus on my emotions and things kind of deeper than that, and tying that to nutrition. And but I do like to share things that I feel like I am working on right now that are helpful to me that you could apply to your running journey, because that is why we're here, right? We are here to move. We are here to support each other, to love each other, and to keep showing up for each other. And we're always going to cycle through the same kind of challenges. And not that we want to hyper focus on things that are challenging us, but I hope that through these conversations of challenges that we're trying different things to overcome, that something will strike you, something will click, something will make you say like, oh, okay, like that could work for me too. And it can translate into your running journey. I hope that makes sense. So what I'm feeling very passionate about right now, what I have worked on the past couple of weeks, and you guys only see me every other week, but I've really been trying to work on what success looks like and really how do I define that for myself. And it's really interesting because I've been doing a lot of work on, you guys have been on that journey, the spiritual work that I've been doing, but now like also like the mental health, the emotional side of things. Like I've been really kind of diving into that and trying to reframe what success looks like. Because if you set yourself up for failure, as we often talk about, with expectations of what you think success looks like and how you have to show up in order to be quote unquote successful, then you often set yourself up for failure in that way. And so I have done this time and time again. And so it's easier to me to relate to that, even if you are using this information to help you with your running journey. It very much applies to me in the nutrition aspect of figuring out how to just, have a healthier relationship with my body and being successful in that way. But I want you to think about this in terms of whatever you might be struggling with. For you, it might be nutrition right now. For you, it might be, showing up. It might be getting your workouts in. It might be just moving, like just finding the motivation to just move your body, like those kinds of things. I want it to translate into that, what I'm about to share with you, because I do think that it's all mindset, and everything comes down to mindset. And what I'm going to share with you, it has everything to do with mindset and how to set yourself up for success. So one of the things that I've had to learn and relearn and relearn and relearn over these past couple of weeks, like there has been so much failure in my life in regards to the structure and how I want to show up for myself, for my health, as far as nutrition, as far as like, I've been very consistent with working out, so I feel really good about that. But there's been so much failure that has happened that there have been so many attempts at like different angles to approach things in, right? Like how to show up and what that looks like. And I've really had to learn through failure. Failure is so good. I really had to learn what success actually is and what that actually looks like. And here's what I'll tell you. You first have to have like a clear concept of how you are, quote unquote, I don't like this word, but for lack of a better word, achieving right now. So like, how are you showing up? Be very clear about that. What does that look like for you, right? Not what you want to do, because we all have this idea of what we want to look like. And to translate this into running, because that's why you guys are here with me. Like, let's just say that you believe that if you're going to be successful, you're going to show up for, hopefully you're not trying to exceed like, over your 3 workouts a week. And not that I'm saying you can't move your body, but like, as far as like your running and training plans, you're not saying like, oh, I have to do 4 or 5 days or I'm failing. But let's say that even your 3 days that you're like, I'm just not showing up for that. But in your mind, you have defined that success looks like perfection and showing up. Like, I'm going to get up before I go to work and I'm going to run these miles at 6 a.m. and I'm going to check these boxes and make it happen. Like, let's say that you've defined that that's what success looks like, right? So the minute you don't have that doesn't happen in the week that comes up, with all of the freaking obstacles that show up for all of us, because we are humans living in this very human world. And let's just say that it doesn't happen. And then what is the self-talk that typically comes after that? I suck. I'm a failure. I can't do this. I'm no good. I knew that I couldn't be like this. I knew that I'm lazy. I knew that I'm a quitter, all those things, right? And so what do? Oftentimes, many of us reset on Sunday, right? We reset on the weekend. We sometimes give ourselves grace and we either say like, okay, I'm going to go at it hard this weekend because I have more flexibility. But we often come into Monday, tomorrow, and say like, okay, I'm really going to do it. 3 days this week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 a.m. I'm going to be up. I'm going to be running, like, and I'm going to get back to it. I'm going to get those miles that I missed. I'm going to, finish that training plan. And we set ourselves up right in the same exact way. Like, okay, I know I didn't show up last week, but this week's going to be different. I'm going to get all these done and I'm going to feel so good. And I'm just going to be back on the horse. And then all of a sudden the week comes and again, life throws all the things at us and we have all the things and we are not successful. Let's say that we even show up once. Is still a failure, right? Because we've decided in our minds that success criteria for us looks like Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 6 a.m. before work. I'm gonna knock it out of the park. I'm gonna bust it out. I'm gonna hit this pace. I'm gonna hit these miles. I'm gonna feel so good and be right back at it. And then all of a sudden you set yourself up for failure inevitably. So you have to be very clear on what you're even doing right now. Literally, the first step to defining success criteria that will actually be effective for you and helpful for you is saying like, well, let's be realistic. Like, what does my life look like right now? What am I doing right now? Maybe I'm doing nothing. Maybe I'm not even maybe I'm parking in like the closest parking spot. There's so many different ways to move your body, but be very clear, write it down. What am I doing right now? And then before you start trying to jump back on that horse and say like, okay, I'm going to just tackle it all and I'm going to make up for lost time and I'm going to hit these miles and I'm going to check these boxes and I'm going to run this speed because I need to compensate for all of the failure that I've had. Like, let's get real. This is where you are. This week that you've been having, whatever it looks like, that is where you are. That is where you've been. Like, own it. Own it. Whether you like it or not, be very realistic about where you are. And then you need to decide what one step beyond where you are right now looks like for you. Not 5 steps, not 10 steps, not what does the finish line look like for you? What does a one step above or ahead of where you are look like for you? One step, one very doable step. And you have to reframe what success criteria is for you. So then what does that look like? What would it look like for me to go into next week with one step better than or above what I have shown up this week and likely for the past 3 to 5 weeks, right? Like you've probably been showing up in that way, beating yourself up maybe in some cases. And if you guys are rocking it, you know that this will apply to you at some point in your life because this is life. This is life. It's always going to happen. So you need to define what does that look like for you. So again, this is where I have failed time and time and time and time again. And I've shown up. I've shown up every Monday and I have said to myself, and this has been happening to me for several months now, several months. And I have said to myself, like, okay, well, if I'm going to, this week is going to be great. Like, I'm going to be on point all week. I'm going to do it every day of the week. Like, I'm going to stop falling off the wagon. I'm going to stop failing. And that's going to be successful for me. Like, that's going to be good. And that's going to count. I have failed every dang time. So even though I have made improvements, they never counted in my mind. It didn't count because I failed the week. It didn't count. So even if you got in one workout or one run, right? It didn't count because you didn't get all of them in exactly the way that you have decided that you've set up that success criteria. So what you need to do is if you aren't moving your body, then one workout next week is a win. It is success. It is a win. And yes, likely that can motivate you and momentum you into having more than one workout. It's natural. But like if it doesn't, that's still a win. And so I've had to reframe. So I literally had to say like, look, this week, again, to tie it back to running, for me, it's different. For me, it's nutrition, but I'm going to tie it back to running. I have had to say like, okay, stop saying that you're going to have a great week and I'm going to be on point. Like everything's going to be, exactly how it's supposed to be. And I've had to say like, listen, last week I had 2 good days. Well, this week I'm going to aim for 3. I've had 2 good days. I'm going to aim for 3. And, naturally things come up and you fall off the wagon. And for me, I also think about, I really need to get to the gym to do physical therapy because if I'm going to keep running, I have to continue to do that to support my knee. I have to. But going to the gym entails a whole other aspect of my life and managing things, and I have to make it work. And so ideally, I would love to go 2 times a week to work on that, 2 to 3 times. But I have to realize that if I go once, it is success. It is success. And the truth is, you can journal and you can self-talk your way so negatively or positively about whatever your week looks like. But one positive word is like the weight of 10,000 negative, if that makes sense. Like if you could just say something positive to yourself as you're moving through about the success that you're having and those small steps that you're taking, like if you could allow yourself to embrace it and say something positive about the work that you've done, even though it wasn't perfect, because we're not perfect and we're never going to show up perfectly. But if you could say something positive to yourself about, hey, I had 3 good days this week. I know I was aiming for 6, which, I've been aiming for 6. I'm going to reframe that. And now I'm going to aim for 3 because I had 2 good days last week. If I can aim for 3, I am doing better. And be proud of yourself. Like that will springboard you into the next week, feeling motivated and inspired and actually feeling able to tackle those goals of yours. So you have got to, again, go back to identifying where am I realistically right now? Like, what does this actually look like for me? Not what I wish it looked like, not what I hope it looks like or I want it to look like, but what has life looked like for me? And what is one thing I can do to move the needle forward next week that I would consider success so that when I finish that week, I can turn around and be like, I did great. I did great. I wasn't perfect, but look, I'm growing. I'm improving. I did great. And to really, truly believe that in your soul. And then you can continue to take those little steps. And I wouldn't even do it each week. I would say, okay, like I made it. I was at 2 days, two great days. I made it to 3. Like I'm going to stick with 3 for a little bit and just feel really good about 3. And I'm going to just, whenever I feel like I'm comfortable in 3 and I'm ready to take a next step. And the point is, you guys, is that we can just do this to ourselves and drive ourselves insane and just be like failure every single week. I failed. You don't know how many messages I get. You guys, from like everybody about like, oh, I can't show up, or oh, I couldn't walk, or oh, I've been like, I know it is life. But what if we were just like, hey, I'm ready to feel good about myself. And like, I'm going to identify what success looks like for me. And I know that's going to be one small step that I continue to take over and over again. And I expand on that as time goes on, because here's the thing. What is the rush? What is the dang rush? Honestly, what are we in a hurry? What are we in a hurry for? what are we in a hurry for? Like, if we would just stop trying to hurry up and get to that finish line of like, okay, I'm showing up perfectly. I'm running a half marathon. Like, yeah, like put it on your bucket list. But if that's not where you are, if you're not realistic about where you are right now, then that's not the goal that you need to set. And what is the hurry? Like, we're just living this life. If we could just be more positive and feel better about what we're doing and taking those steps and being successful and feeling like, okay, I'm making progress, I'm feeling good, and just let it go, like, just let it be. I feel like the majority of our difficulty and struggling to show up is these expectations we set for ourselves of what a perfect week must look like, or what actual like good training would look like, or if I was on a great training plan, or if I was doing well, like this is what it would look like. Like, stop. Just like, I am still learning this. I am still learning this. I am still trying to embrace this and understand it. And I feel like I've had such a smack in the face, on the nutritional aspect, because I keep trying to set myself up for these, like, I'll figure it out. Like, this is the exact formula. Like, this is what it's going to look like if I have, these meals, or if I set myself up perfectly. Like, it doesn't exist. I'm never going to go from being realistic about where I am to having a perfect week. That's not even a thing. That's not even real. So why would we expect that in any area of our life? And obviously, I talk about running because that's why you're here. That's why we're here. That's why I'm talking right now. But this literally applies to anything. It applies to anything. Learning something new, figuring something out, studying for a test. Like, why would you expect yourself to go from being realistic again about where you are to all of a sudden like a perfect week or an ideal week, if that makes sense? So give yourself some freaking grace. I will do the same. But that mindset changed me this week. And I will say, like, I was able to add one additional better day of putting better things in my body and feeling better and not like emotionally spiraling and all of that. And I am feeling good about it because for the first time ever, after all of these months of me trying all the different things, I started saying, like, wait a minute, like, why am I doing that? Why am I allowing myself to feel like a failure every single week when, like, I am improving? Like, even though I wasn't doing well for the entire week, I had 3 really good days. Do you know how long it's been since I've had, you know, 4 weeks of consistent, like 3 days of consistency? Does that even make sense? Like, it has been so long since I've been able to take care of myself in that way for 3 whole days. And again, I'm talking about nutrition and eating healthier, putting healthier things in my body. Like, I have spiraled and failed at that my entire life. But for the first time, I've been successful. Like, I'm always like, oh, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I've got, but then I just fall off the wagon. And up until this week, that was every week I considered a failure. But why did I not look at the 3 days of success that I had? And I never considered, like, it's like when I talk about in some of those courses of stacking those runs, like, they still happened. So if you didn't get all of your workouts in or all of your runs in, like, that doesn't negate what you've already done. Like, those things still happen. You still stack those up in your success criteria of like, but I still got them done. Why do they keep getting wiped out and washed out and thrown out the door because I wasn't able to do it perfectly? Like, why is that? Why do we do that? And so what if instead of saying like, it has to look like this, like, oh, I have to have this perfect week, what if we said like, okay, like, I hope I can have 3 more good days? Because think about it, over the course of a month, that's 12 great days that I've had that I wouldn't have had. Like, what if we started saying, that feels like success? And at the end of the day, when we can say that about ourselves and say like, I am successful, I'm moving in the right direction, I'm feeling positive, like, that will impact us times a million over the negative thoughts and the negative, internal voice and the negative criticism that we can give ourselves. That will never motivate. You will never change. You will never do better because you beat yourself up and you talk negatively about yourself. It will never work. So we need to work on and reinforcing that positive voice and that positive mindset and that positive, inner critic that shows up, and reminding them that like, hey, I'm doing good things. Like, I am good at this. I am a good person. I'm having a lot of success here. And that will drive you forward and help you to continue to get towards those goals that you have by being realistic about where you are and what that next step looks like. But be positive about how far you've come and the things that you've accomplished. Whew. Okay. I'm going to, no joke, re-listen to this tomorrow because I need this every single day. And my sister is sitting in here with me right now. I'm going to probably reflect on this live with her after this, and she's going to say, that's so funny. Well, why don't you listen to yourself? Because of all, I mean, it is our natural go-to, our natural default to just talk negatively about ourselves. It's so easy. It's so sad, but it's so easy. You really have to work hard to see the positive in ourselves. We don't do that for everybody else. We can look at the person next to you like, you're doing a great job. Be proud of yourself. Like, look how far you've come. So easy to say to someone else. But when it comes to ourselves, it's so hard to give that grace. So, something that we all need to remember. I love you guys so much. Let me check the date for when I will see you guys next time. Oh my gosh, tomorrow's June 14th. Yes, June 14th. I will see you guys next. I love you. I would love to hear about whether through messaging or posting what goals you're setting. Like, where are you and what goals are you setting? Realistic goals from where you are. Like, what is that one step that you're taking to try to work towards that would allow you to feel and be successful because you're moving that needle forward exactly from where you are? I love you guys so much. Have an amazing week, and I will see you soon.